This is what a proper night's sleep looks like when you wake up a little later than you're supposed to. Or should have. Okay, today we're going to talk soul care. I'm so excited. It's a big one, so I'm gonna go make coffee and breakfast, and then I'll see you later. Come, baby, come. Come on. Come. Brutus, you're gonna walk into me. Thank you, boobs. What a fucking mess. What a fucking mess. Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back. I have redone this video. Stop moving, table. I have redone this video several times. Every time I edit, I see I've left something out or I've added something that I want to include in something else, another video. So this is the last time I'm doing this. I have given myself an alert. You can see everything in my little reflections in my glasses. I have my laptop and my notes on a table next to me, and I have my coffee and my water close by. So to those of you who are waking up like I did 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, it's 9 a.m. It's early. But cheers to your coffee. If you have some wine, that's good too. We always love a good wine, girl. Today we're going to be doing that nifty little thing, soul care. And I'm gonna read my notes here because there's something I said here that I absolutely love the way I put it. So I'm going to go back to it. Old lady with the glasses. So essentially soul care means taking care of all of you, your whole person, but today's focus is the inner aspect, the parts that make your soul sparkle. And we're gonna be I'm gonna take a sip of this now. I'm gonna be working through years worth of research. This is just basically the stuff that I've put together after weeks and weeks and weeks of me trying to like piece together different pieces of this. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be stripping down the soul and going, okay, what makes me happy? And this is an important part of self-care and self-discovery because you want to be moving forward instead of moving backwards as a human being. And so I'm going to bring up some of the sources here on my computer because I've got my little laptop here as well. I have a phone call coming through. Silence that. I'm going to bring that up and we're going to talk about the inner struggle. The inner struggle of self. Which is essentially why you want to do the soul care, so that you know what your struggle is, so that you know what to work on. And the whole idea behind working on it is to essentially make yourself a happier person from the inside and not just from the outside. And we want to do that because we like being happy. So, get the glasses on because I'm an old lady. This kind of conflict arises every time you are faced with making a decision and generally involves a struggle between doing what you think you ought to do and being your true self. And I couldn't say it any fucking better. I love this description and I'll actually link it down below. It's by Gordon Training. Excuse me, I'm still a little like sniffy from the last week. Because you are constantly fighting against what society wants from you and what you want for yourself, and this is why we need to do this work. Because are we gonna follow societal stupid norms that don't suit us? Obviously, within reason, there's safety in numbers and whatnot, but we need to be our true selves. So let's start about this. The inner struggle, perhaps something or in some event our past story is giving us a pause. We feel exorbitant shame and guilt about it. We may feel stuck. We may feel dead inside, paralyzed, unable to move forward. And the work that we are going to do today is going to guide us to that, to getting unstuck. So you need to ask yourself the questions. Am I giving myself attention, grace? Do I give love to myself? And do I foster resiliency? Now, I had someone tell me a couple months ago, probably early this year, it's August now, guys. it's month 8 of 2022, like, holy shit. yeah, early this year that they don't like the word resiliency because it means they've had to be strong the entire time. And I disagree. I disagree 100%. Because if you are resilient, you are able to work through it. Resiliency is not just about being strong, but it's about showing strength within yourself. And I find myself extremely resilient. My screen just went dark. So many moving parts. Because, what was I saying? I've completely lost my sense of thought. Okay, so when you do your inner work, do you ask yourself those questions? Do I give myself attention? And that's not like, oh my god, I love myself kind of vibe. It's, am I giving attention to what's bugging me? Am I giving attention to what could be a problem? Am I giving attention to how that person made me feel? Am I giving attention to the situation and how I'm sort of dealing with it? Do I give myself grace? Do I allow myself space to, and grace and space, do I allow myself space to work through this stuff, or am I hard on myself? And this is one I struggle with because I don't give myself grace. Because I've been doing this for so long, I find that I don't give myself the grace anymore, and I have to stop and I have to go, okay, give yourself the space to work through this thing, because obviously this is still something that you need to work with. I am very phlegmy this morning. Trying a new lip colour, so now I get on my straw. That's fun. And I mean, it's basically just going, okay, this situation bugged me, and you sit down with yourself and you go, okay, but why? And you pinpoint the issues. I can use a very stupid example, but something that really gets to me. A lot of people in my life have a tendency to comment on what I eat and when I eat it. Specifically people at work, and I, as a feminist, tell them directly, take your fucking nose out my plate. It's got fuck all to do with you, and it's not like you're feeding me or paying for it. I am. And that is something that I have to give myself grace for, because I still get angry about it. It's something that I've seen comments like that destroy people and cause, trigger warning, eating habits that aren't healthy, particularly in my own family. So I don't allow people to make comments like that. And it still very much flares an anger spark within me that probably shouldn't, and I shouldn't let people get to me like that. But when I'm giving myself grace about the situation, I can go, it is a situation where that person has no right, and they weren't taught any better, and they clearly aren't treating the people in their life with the respect that they deserve when it comes to things like that. This person's married with a wife and kids, so I'm very concerned for the kids, but I will stay out of that. Anyway, so that's a stupid example that bugs me all the time. Is how people constantly comment on other people's body and weight, and because I've seen it destroy other people, I get very amped up about it, and that is something that I need to give myself grace for when I'm working through it, and I need to look at it and go, okay, but why does it bug me? How does it bug me? What can I do to make it less of an issue that literally bothers me for 3-4 days? And I'm bringing it up today specifically because I literally worked through it in therapy on Thursdays, so I know now how to deal with it, but previously didn't. Good example. Okay, so when you're giving yourself love, are you giving yourself the kind of love that you would give to others, or are you leaving the leftovers for yourself? And that I always find difficult, because when you look at it in a sense of like, go away, phone call happening. When you look at it in a sense of what kind of love do I give others? Are you someone that's always supportive? Are you someone that is always giving advice, always trying to help people, always trying to show love, always trying to be kind and courteous to other people? But when it comes to yourself, you're hard, and you generally don't have the space for yourself. You don't give yourself the time of day. You know you're tired, so you don't go for a nap, you go for a run. Are you that kind of person? Or do you go, okay, I'm a little bit tired, I haven't slept very well, so today I'm going to skip my run, only for one day, just so I can take some time to rest? Are you that kind of person? Are you the kind of person that when people ask you, what do you love about yourself, you scramble to answer the question because you really don't know the answer? Or do you actually know yourself well enough to go, I love the fact that I'm extremely organized with certain things and extremely disorganized with certain things. That's my answer, by the way. And yes, with work stuff, I'm always organized and you can find everything. And when you come to my personal notes and things like that, it's all in like 5 million different notebooks. And I try to be organized. I just don't have the time. And I love it about myself. So, because this is a layer we need to peel back, we need to start with the layer of inner self-care. And I'm going to move to this one. No, that is... Which means we are now going to connect to our souls and connect to the inner part of our souls. And I find this a very fascinating way because everybody has different methods of doing it. So I will link a few sources down below, but basically we're now going to shake one that I found a connection to and shake that out for everybody to realize that there are many different methods. And my source comes from Psych Central, which is a psychology blog that I've been following for years. And basically, it's 5 ways to connect with yourself again. And all I want people to take from this is to go, okay, so there is more than one way to do it. You can do it in multiple different ways to do it, or you can do one specific way and do it. All works with how you are, and who you are, and at what stage of this journey you're in, basically. So, Jennifer Kogan. Why do I always say her name wrong? This is the first time I said her name wrong today. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about this. Okay. Jennifer Kogan is a psychiatrist in Washington, D.C. that writes on this blog. And this article specifically is hers, and I'll link it down below for you guys to read it because it's actually very interesting. It's very short and to the point, and I like that. There are long-winded ways to go about this, the way I'm doing it. Notice your feelings is number 1. I am feeling very anxious today. I have taken my anxiety medication. I am drinking coffee, so I'm counteracting it. But I am on a road where it is definitely, I can notice that now. And that is important. When you notice it, are you sort of giving it time to be there, or are you just taking note and moving forward? That's important. So let's quickly go here. How to notice one's feelings. And we're gonna go with one of my top favorite ones. I just didn't want to go into my history. Okay. Understanding your emotions. Identify. There we go. Psychology Today comes through, and this is one of my favorite topics. It's literally pinned. As you can tell, I've done a lot of research on this. Okay, and we're back. The Wi-Fi decided to be funny. Okay, so why is it important to identify your feelings? Well, one source says it helps us build better relationships. Something that every therapist, life coach, somebody who's working with you will say, it is important to know yourself. It is important to know how to process those feelings, because you could get yourself into situations where you don't know how to deal with that, and then, yeah. So it's a layered answer. It can mean so many different things, and it could be so many different reasons that you need to identify your emotions. One of which is your relationships. So it could be your romantic relationships. That is cracked. It could be your familial relationships. It could be your friendships. And my pillow has just moved. It's really cold on the wooden chair. So when we do that, when we notice our feelings, figure out where you're feeling it. So with love, I often feel it here and here, chest and brain. So mine is really connected with that. But my mother, that's a very hard topic to talk about. Probably doesn't feel it in the same places that I do. My sister doesn't feel it in the same places I do. My partner doesn't feel it in the same places I do. So each person is connected to their emotions in different places, and it is so fascinating. to figure that part out and then go, okay, so that's why you deal with it that way, and I deal with it this way. It's like when you feel anxiety, I feel it in my chest. This entire area, it pulls tight to my shoulders. Whereas some people will feel it in their neck and their head, other people will feel it in their knees or their stomach, and it all depends on the layer that you're working through, I guess. So that's a good one. How do I define my feelings? So you ask yourself, how do you feel right now? And then you pause, and so right now I feel a little bit tired. I feel it here. And I feel it a little bit in my movement, like I'm sluggish. So yeah, that's one of the ways. Or I could go, right now I feel good. I feel good. And I'm feeling it from here today. And I'm doing something I love. And I did something good for myself. I did my makeup and my hair. I got all dressed up. And yeah. That's one example of how you could do this. And it's so fascinating to see people when they go through this process, because it changes your perspective on life. Anyway, the next way to connect with yourself, I have lost a page somewhere. Is to accept your thoughts and emotions. Accept that you're feeling that way in the moment. Figure out that it's okay to have emotions. I, as someone who had a very complex relationship with emotions as a child, never felt okay feeling things. And a lot of the reason is because of the familial relationships we were taught to have as kids. We didn't have healthy relationships with our family as kids, and as adults we realized that. Thank God, because otherwise it would be fucking scary living this life now. But well, pause. Yeah, okay, but when I worked through that, let me put it that way, when I worked through it, I discovered the difference between the codependency and living independently from that codependency. It's very fascinating. It's very interesting seeing it. There are days that I sort of slip back into the mold, and it takes a lot more work than people realize. But when you're aware of it, you're able to step back and go, okay, I don't want to be there. When you're aware of it and you're able to work through it, you can step back and go, this is not the place for me. Regardless of how comfortable it is, because it's normal for you, it can be a challenge, and it can be something that you are going to work through for a long time. I know that when I moved away from living with or close to my family, I saw a drastic change in that, and it definitely living within close quarters of my family has affected the fact that I go back and forth. I do feel like everybody has their own journey with this. And when you accept that you're allowed to feel emotions and you're allowed to actually have them, it can be quite a blessing in disguise. We're taught boys don't cry, girls aren't allowed to feel about this, that, or the other. I'm back. Girls aren't allowed to feel tired or feel hungry. We have to feel beautiful, and we have to look a certain way. And having emotions that people frown upon for women, like you're not allowed to be angry, you have to be nice all the time. Utter bullshit. First of all, hi, feminist. But it's also utter bullshit. Women and men are allowed to feel whenever they want to, whatever they want to, whatever they're feeling in the moment. If you want to fucking cry and you're a guy, fucking cry. Let it out. Don't bottle it in. It is so unhealthy to bottle it in. If you're a woman and you're angry, fucking let it out. Don't bottle it and cover it up with like being nice all the time. You don't have to be nice to be liked. Just because society wants you to be a certain way and you can't feel these emotions and you're not allowed to have these emotions, that's not a normal life. We all have complex emotions and we're born with them, and we're supposed to be working through them. Like, please, goddamn it, feel your fucking emotions. I'm gonna move on from this one because now I'm getting angry and I need to get through this. Another way to connect with yourself is to practice self-compassion. When you do that, let's go with anger for women. Practice the fact that in society you're not technically allowed to because of the social norm. And then think about how you're feeling and go, okay, this is valid. This is valid. I have a valid reason for feeling angry in this moment, so I will feel my anger, I will let it work through itself, and I will let it go afterwards. And that compassion that you can show yourself working through that process is actually so healing. It can really change the way you feel emotions as well. The minute that you start to hold on to things to feel later and to shake later, it becomes so much more of a complex process to let go of, because now you're used to storing them. And I mean, we all are. And it's become somewhat of a dance. Let's see who you're gonna piss off first. Society, your family, your friends, your partner. When you're working through this, and it's so sad that we have to dance around the little like hedge that's created around us in order to work through an emotion that we are very much allowed to feel. And men with sadness, men are allowed to be sad, men are allowed to cry, men are allowed to feel. You are not machines. Please, dear God, feel your fucking emotions. It's so scary, because I grew up with macho men my entire life. Both my father figures, my biological and my stepdad, went to the army, and they weren't allowed to do certain things, and they weren't allowed to feel certain things. My biological father and I have a more complex relationship because of it, and it's very interesting. Now we've got a much better relationship as I get older. And the other day we had this conversation about how he feels about certain things, and it was so... The man's 50. He's only figuring out emotions now. I don't want whatever kid I have to be 50 and figuring out emotions. If he's 5 and he wants to throw a tantrum, he can throw a fucking tantrum. He just needs to tell me why, so that I can sit with him later on and go, okay, but what was this, and what was this, and what was this? I don't want him to figure it out at 50. How the fuck is that normal? And my stepdad is nearly 60, and I had to explain to him that being gracious on every day about your situation is normal. He's so linked to this macho personality, and it's saddening to me that he's not allowed to feel weak, which is not a weakness. It's an emotion, and I don't want our generations to have to deal with it at 50 and nearly 60. I want it to happen now because it's so healthy, and when you're 50 and 60 you can teach your children, but this is okay. When we have our children, this is okay to feel. And I should not be at nearly 30 teaching a nearly 60-year-old man that it's okay to have a little bit of weakness in his life. I am in the position to do so because I've done this work and I can do this work with him. And I should not be the person in my father-daughter relationship that goes, it's okay. But I am that person. And I feel like the roles are reversed because of societal beliefs, and it's sad. And that's why this process is so fucking important, and I'm getting so passionate. So we're gonna tackle another topic, another way you can connect with yourself. And this is from Mud Coaching. This was a strange find for me. I've never found this website before, and I sort of went into it, and they've been around for a while. Also talking about the same things I talk about regularly, so it's very interesting. Okay, let's go to this list. This article is 6 ways to connect with yourself every day and why you need to. Okay, begin each day. Number 1, with checking in with yourself. So when you wake up, deep breath, and I'm about to start coughing again. That was not fun. I'm not sick, I'm actually on the bed, and it's that residual that keeps getting caught in the back of my throat. I hate it. I hate it when that happens. And because it's sinus season, like everything is just like gross at the moment. Great. 25 minutes already. Holy shit, okay. Alright. This one says, begin each day with checking in with yourself. This is something I started with a therapist of mine many years ago. And I stopped doing it after going to therapy. I thought it was like a one and done kind of deal. It's not. It's something you should do every day. I now wake up and I do my 10 minutes reading, 10 minutes journaling, and then I go downstairs and I make a cup of coffee and breakfast if I've got the time. Well, it's been a little bit difficult to get up lately. I don't sleep very well. But like my process in the morning of checking in with myself starts with a cup of coffee. And if I do the journaling before that, it is a little bit more difficult for me because this is sort of like, the caffeine doesn't kick in immediately. So obviously it's not that. It's the action of making the cup of coffee and sitting and then thinking that works for me. But when I do the journaling pre-coffee, I have to sit, write down a word that pops into my head, and generally it's an emotion that I write down, and then I go, okay, is this how I'm feeling right now? Yes. Okay, why? And I'll work through the night's dreams, the day before, the anxieties of the day, and that sort of thing. And it has changed the perspective of each day for me, which is so interesting. I remember doing that way in the beginning when I used to do it with my therapist, I think 6 years ago. And that gap in between, seeing the difference between it working and actually changing the way you see your day to when you don't do it is fascinating. It's fascinating when you sort of break down that something as simple as going, how did I feel when I wake up, can literally change the course of your entire day or how you manage your entire day. Another one of my favorite ones is this. Follow your energy. I want to read this to you guys. The minute I read it, connected so deeply with me because it's something that I have to be very aware of. I feel a person's energy from the moment I meet them. And it's not like I'm going, oh, I'm psychic or anything like that. I know about my vibes. I check my vibes all the time. The friends who I still have today, I've checked the vibes millions of times. I'm still friends with people that I went to ballet with. I'm still friends with people I went to school with. Not all of them, but one or two of them. I'm friends with people that I connected with at a bar. And it's that vibe check that I did in order to, figure it out. I'm friends with someone that I met at a craft market and then at a gay connection group when I was much younger and in a different relationship and looking for more people like myself. And we're best friends today. I connected with someone who, unfortunately, she's not with us anymore, but the minute we met, we connected because we were on the same vibe. And it's so fascinating to me when I've met a friend of my partner's who doesn't pass the vibe check. Every time, they're really important to my partner, so I don't go out of my way to make it obvious or anything, but every time we're in the same room, I can feel that vibe. And it's so fascinating to me that is there. Because a lot of people go through life without feeling it. And I'm just like, how? Because I walk into a door and I put out my hand to you, I can feel your vibe. And it's, to follow your energy. I'm going to read this to you. Do you ever notice sometimes you set out to do something when you're energized and enlivened by it, and another thing requires you to mobilize energy and get up and get after it? So this is talking about things, and not necessarily people, but I feel energy with a lot of things, so... Gonna cut that. When you are choosing what is right for you, you will have the energy for it. You do not need to push yourself or be pushed. and it's the same with people. Connect with yourself by noticing what your energy is telling you. This sentence connected with me immediately on a deeper level because I'm a multi-potentialite. I do multiple different things with my life. I don't like to sit still. I can't sit still. And it's possibly got to do with ADHD. We haven't got a rock solid diagnosis because of the anxiety, but it's possible. And obviously it makes things a little bit more difficult because I don't focus on things for very long. I try to. But when the energy is there, I follow it. And this is something that a lot of people don't do because you pick a career, you go into it and you do it. And sure, if that makes you happy, go for it. I'm not telling you don't do that. It does not make me happy. And I've been told by everyone and their dog, oh, you need to pick one thing. And do what? I can't focus on one thing for 20 fucking years. I couldn't focus on one thing for 4 years. I was the best. I don't have any interest in it anymore. And my voice is disappearing. I don't have any interest in it anymore. And I don't think I ever will. I have all this knowledge. I can give you the knowledge. You can have the knowledge. But I don't want to do it myself. And it's so fascinating to me to see the different aspects of my personality that get sparked with different things. So follow your energy. Your energy system is like your emotional field. It is an inner intelligence that can reveal all sorts of things about you to yourself and what direction to take your life. What calls up to you, lights you up, giving you that inner body buzz. I love that. This is why we do inner work. I think I'm going around in circles, but it's fine. I said this one was going to be a long one. It's already half an hour. It's crazy. Okay. I love how they've titled this next one, and I think this is where I'm going to end this, and I'll do a part 2 because, like I said, I've redone this video so many times. Learn the language of your body. Okay. Your body has a magnificent intelligence of its own, and being able to understand what it says to you is critical for self-connection, for that soul connection to your inner body. Noticing ease or obstruction with movement, sleep, digestion, or relaxation is important for recognizing signals that is when something is off or when all is in order, whether physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And I'm not talking, pray spiritually. I'm talking like, are you connected to your inner you? The person who's supposed to feel things, the person who makes the decisions. The outer person is the person that society is built. Food for thought. Not going back into that. One of the your body communicates in very obvious ways and can also communicate in subtle ways. So my sinuses, very subtle way of saying something's in the air that is bugging you. Your fight or flight response is another body signal. That like connection you feel with someone when you're in a room with someone and you go, oh, I don't like that person. Oh, I like that person. That energy is another way your body communicates with you. And it's a wide spectrum of things. Like, I cannot go through all of it now because there's so many. I just got lipstick on my finger. Yay! It's something that you have to learn as you go along. And at 28, I think I've connected pretty well to my body. I read that signal that shoots up my back every time somebody enters a room. I like if I don't get a read on you, then I will give you the time and the space and try and get a read on you. If I do get a read on you and I don't like you, I generally won't sit in the same room with you. This is an interesting way that they put this. And I'm reading this now because I did read it last night and I made a note here to say this out loud. And it says, try this next time you're about to exercise and ask your body what it needs. Is it calling for a high energy workout, a brisk walk around the neighborhood, or a gentle yin yoga class? Next time you meet someone new, check in with your body and see how it is responding to this person. Are your arms folded? Is your body tightening up? Or do you know your body, or did you notice that your body is totally relaxed and at ease around you? Make it a habit to deliberately, my brain is going a mile a minute, 100 miles a minute at the moment, and I'm trying so hard to focus on that and not motor mouth it so that I can portray this information to you. Make it a habit to deliberately tune into those sensations when you feel the inside of your body, as well as to any changes on the outer surface of your body. Regularly check in to assess what your body is saying and to ask what it needs, and to give it the loving attention it deserves. So remember we said, am I giving myself attention? Am I giving myself grace? Am I giving love to myself? And do I practice resiliency? Checking in with your body, inside and outside, is a way of giving it attention and love and grace. So I'm going to end this here because it's a 35-minute video I still have to edit, and like I said, this is probably the 7th time I'm redoing this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go warm up my coffee because it's now cold. It is ice cold. Wow. I'm going to go sit in the sun and enjoy it. And I would like to thank you for joining me on today's journey, and there will be a part 2 to this because this is not done yet. I still have at least 3 articles to mention to you guys. I will link everything down below, both videos. I know I haven't linked on the other 2 videos yet. I will. I actually have that planned for today. Life has been a little bit crazy for me, but I'm taking it in stride. And I just want to say, if you feel like any of this really resonates with you, please reach out. I will have an email link down below. I'm always checking it. I will link down different sources you can use to sort of begin the process on your own. And if you need therapy, there are so many different ways to do it. If you email me, I can give you all the articles, all the links, all the contacts. I've been doing this a while, and I've been building a base to sort of help people with, and I'm hoping that this really helps somebody today. I know I've talked in circles. This is something that you really have to go in it feeling how you feel and feeling what you feel and working through what you need to. And I really appreciate anybody who's taken the time to sit down and listen, because this is not for me, this is for you guys. And I know that sounds completely, this is for you guys. Filming and video is one of my passions, something that I discovered when I tried to start YouTube, and I enjoy this topic, self-care and self-discovery. And I really do think that it is something that more people should get into. So I hope to help more people to get into it. Whenever somebody starts talking about it, it gets me excited. I feel this warm glow, and I want people to share their journeys. So please, if you have a journey you're on, comment down below. Let's have the conversation. I would love to share it with you. I would love to talk to you about your journey. I would love to hear all about your stories. This is something that, like I said, brings me a warm glow from the inside, and I every time that I start a project that's got to do with self-care, I get excited and I get giddy because it's gonna help someone, and it's helped me so much, and I see it's helped so many of my friends when they ask me these questions, and I am able to answer them honestly and give them not guidance, but sort of a direction to move into. And it's, yeah. So I really hope this has helped a little bit. There is so much more to this than people realize, and I want to be there. I want to be holding your hand the whole way. So let's hold hands through this, and let's get through this together. Let's get healthier together. Let's get better together. So I'm sending you love, light, and rainbows, my lovelies, and thank you so much for joining me this morning. Cheers to the coffees, cheers to the wines, cheers to the waters, and anything else you may be drinking. And yeah, I'm gonna take a sip of my ice cold coffee now because we cheersed. Thanks so much. Bye. See you next week.